Hello and welcome to the beautiful Bailey Center Auditorium on the grounds of Wallace State College in Hanceville. Thank you to our gracious host, Wallace State College, and Dr. Vicki Karlowicz. The 2025 Tribune Debate Series and question and answer forums continue today with the municipal elections, more specifically the Cullman City School Board. These events are designed to give the public more unfiltered answers without the questions ahead of time, direct comparisons, and meaningful conversation. We turn our focus to the candidates running for place 4. We begin with Amy Wood, as Wayne Walker had not replied to previous invitations. We shall proceed with a question and answer forum. The Tribune works diligently to reach every candidate, but if a candidate declines to respond to emails or calls, there is only so much we can do. The invitation stands, the forum is open. If a candidate does not attend, an empty chair will sit beside those who do. This has been done at all debates in the past and this year. With all that being said, let's get to the rules. No electronic devices are permitted, so if you have an electronic watch, please turn it off. This will be a question and answer format, so once you answer, I may have a follow-up. Your opening statement is limited to 60 seconds, but it can be prepared. You will have up to 3 minutes per question. Your closing statement is limited to 90 seconds, and it must be spoken without notes. You really don't have to worry about rebuttals except for me. Let's just do facts only and no accusations. Voters reserve substance over slogans. So let's begin. Ms. Wood, would you start with your opening statement, please?
Yes. Hello, my name is Amy McAfee Wood, and I'm running for the Cullman City School Board because I believe in continuing the positive progress we've seen while making sure we're focused on what matters most, our students and the teachers who support them every day. I want to strengthen both the classroom experience and the long-term planning that keeps our schools strong for future generations. I am a lifelong Cullman resident, Cullman High, and Auburn University graduate, and proud mom of 4 CHS students. My family has deep roots in the community, and I've spent the past 29 years working at Cullman Cabinet. I serve as president of the Cullman Regional Foundation, and I'm active in the Service Guild, Share Club, and Cullman Women's League, as well as a longtime board member of the Cullman City Schools Foundation. My involvement with this foundation has been really special to me because it keeps me close to the people who are shaping students every day. At the heart of it, I've always wanted to give back to the community that's given me so much, and I believe strong schools are the foundation for a strong community.
And now we'll continue. If you would just place the Bible underneath your seat, and we'll get started. The first question is on defining success. What does student success mean to you, and how should Cullman City Schools measure it beyond test scores?
Good question. Student success, what it means to me. I have 4 grads from Cullman High School, and their experience at Cullman during their time, they have moved on, gone to college. One is a fireman. My son with Down syndrome now works at Chick-fil-A, and my daughter came back to Cullman. She's teaching at Good Hope. The success that they achieved through classes at Cullman is priceless. Their experiences with the teachers, the camaraderie that they had with the students, the extracurricular activities they were in, all led them to be in the positions they are today. My son that's a fireman, the skills he learned running cross country, the diligent hours he had to work hard running in the mornings, that all led to him being able to be a fireman. Alex, what he learned in the classroom, he loves working at Chick-fil-A. That was all from the special needs classroom that he attended and the teachers and aides that loved on him. Wilson just started Emory on Monday, and is looking into pre-med. That was from HOSA. He was in HOSA his junior and senior year, which prompted him to pursue medical school. So all the teachers and everything they poured into my kids led them to where they are today. And I think they'll have successful because of Cullman High School, Cullman Middle School, and their elementary educations.
All right, thank you for that answer. I really don't have a rebuttal for you on that one. So, we'll move on to question number 2, academic reputation. How will you protect Cullman's academic reputation while pushing for continued improvement?
I feel with continued improvement and protecting the reputation, with all the programs that are offered from STEM to the career tech programs, the reputation that we have is an A+ student overall grade graduation rate as well. And I feel like protecting that, the students speak for that overall. And I feel like their success speaks for what we do as a school system.
And so we will move on to question number 3, dealing with discipline. I know this is always a fun topic. What changes, if any, would you make to the district's approach to student discipline?
Good question. I feel as if the discipline, every situation should be dealt with. Of course, rules are in place, but everything should be dealt with based on the situation. Say if it was a bullying situation, whether it be on campus or say online bullying, I feel like that should be, they should be based on the situation, what happened, who was involved, and as far as the overall disciplinary based on each case. Rules are in place for everything for a reason, but I feel like each case should be treated separately for the outcome of what happened in the bullying situation.
All right. And so if you took it case by case, I mean, we know we have definitive guidelines for certain incidents. You mentioned bullying, especially cyberbullying seems to be more prevalent now than on-campus bullying. So what steps are currently in place to deal with cyberbullying?
The current steps with that, and I know in 2020 this started more because students were not on campus due to COVID, and that really happened more during that time. And so the steps that are in place, I'm not 100% sure on those. I know, again, it's a case by case, but I'm definitely going to research more into that, and I'll have an answer for you for that.
Thank you for that response. And we will move on to question 4, which is the future of education. What role should online courses, virtual learning, or AI-powered tools play in the Cullman classrooms?
What role? Mm-hmm. With that, the virtual classrooms, and then also in school learning, to me, just because that's the way it was. You know, when we were in school, we didn't have the availability of computers as it is today. But with growth, that's a constant. It's going to be present, as well as AI, which was mentioned earlier, is a constant, and that's something that we have to pay close attention to in the classroom. And with that also, I know what I would like to see as far as research on this as well. Other schools, Birmingham, Hanceville, have certain niches that they have with other options for different types of classroom learning that could also pursue, like with, say, universities and other schools, to have credits that they can receive once they graduate from high school that would apply to that. So I would like to see more of that. And I know it also requires teachers that are accredited to teach that, but also possibly an online course with that to further progress, so that when they do graduate, a lot of those courses, which I know several do, but even more opportunity for Cullman to have those classes that would be able to transfer to other colleges and universities in the future.
All right. And just a quick follow-up on that. Do you think that some courses for both teachers and administrators on AI is important moving forward?
Yes, I think that is very important. And again, it is our future. It is here. It's going to be something that's going to continue with technology. Every year it's going to be more and more with our students as they are building robots one day and robots are doing what we do. I definitely think educating ourselves on that will help students as well as teachers, because it's here to stay.
All right, thank you for that response. And we'll move on to teacher support. What specific changes could be made to reduce teacher burnout and increase job satisfaction?
To decrease teacher burnout, I feel like it's kind of like in life, you start a new job and you're not really sure. You go to school and you have your degree and then you start teaching. I feel like it's the same thing with any job. There's going to be new people, new faces, and you start and you don't know the answers to all the questions. So I feel like a type of mentorship, maybe possibly with teachers that have tenure or that have been in the system for a while, that they could go and speak to these teachers and learn something, have conversations. Hey, what about this? What about this? Could we implement this? And they could answer the questions that they have. Because again, with any job, when you first start, you're going to have the unknown, the scary, oh no, is this teacher gonna, and also too, being a teacher, you're in a classroom with 30 to 35 different personalities, and you are there to kind of herd all of those personalities in one room in one setting, and everybody has a different opinion. And so I feel like letting the teacher, have sort of a mentorship could help them in the future, as questions that they may not be able to answer in the beginning. And then also maybe an incentive. So something in our workplace, that I think could be implemented anywhere is if like an idea arises and, somebody comes up with this idea, well, hey, you might get, say an incentive for doing that. A different program for the kids or a different way of teaching. Hey, this group is doing this. What, maybe we could try a different approach to teaching. So if it's stuck, maybe an incentive for the teacher to, continue to come up with new ideas.
Thank you for that. And so peer-to-peer is an important level to that plan, correct? All right, thank you for that. And to board dynamics. How would you approach disagreements with other board members to ensure the district still moves forward?
That is any board that you sit on. I mean, and that's something like through life, you have a way to, listen to the facts, and again, removing feelings from a situation, but listening to facts. And that's, concluding to a decision, and also you can agree to disagree. There'll be things that you might, agree with part of a situation, but not all. But sitting on a board, coming up with a conclusion together in unity, making an overall decision, I think would be best for the board, which in turn, best for the teachers and students.
All right, thank you for that answer. And we will move on to budget oversight. Which areas of the budget deserve more scrutiny, And where do you believe funds could be redirected?
That's a tough one. Funds overall, that's something too that if on the board, I don't know all the facts as far as where the monies are allocated and different things. That's something that as a new board member, I'm ready to dive in and learn. As far as allocated differently, one thing on the Cullman City School Foundation Board, the teachers presented us with grants. And we as a board voted on those grants and decided on what teachers, where the money was allocated. And over the 10 years serving on that board, I'm so pleased to see so many teachers receive these, which, story after story of how, this went in this classroom, this whiteboard went in this classroom, and this made such a difference. So being on the side to see the grants, being allocated was really rewarding to me to see that whole process take place.
Thank you for your answer, and we'll move on to early education. Would you support adding or expanding pre-K programs in Cullman City schools? Why or why not?
I think adding pre-K, students learn at the rate they learn now is amazing just compared to the technology that they have today versus, say when I was a young student at that age. Even, the advancement that has been made with my kids who, my youngest just graduated last year. I think learning even earlier, I feel like walking and talking, like things move so much quicker now than they did years ago because we have the advancement with the technology which keeps changing. So I feel like that would be something that would be very beneficial to our students, yes.
And we'll move on to public communication. What methods should the board use to better communicate decisions to families and community members?
Measures to better communicate with family members. I feel like with our advanced technology, using posts, a website where they could go and, earlier there was a question about, being able to communicate and hear what happens and goes on in a boardroom, the Cullman City boardroom. I feel like, updates, most people don't look at a newsletter today, but I feel like through posts and say also to communication with the new, with cell phones not being allowed in schools, and I know that some parents have been really concerned about that. Communication where the teachers can, if a tragedy did take place, where they could communicate with a teacher website or a text app that they could go to know what's going on. So I think that would benefit the fear that, say, a parent may have if something is happening in one of the schools.
All right, thank you for that response. And we'll move on to our final question. It is on innovation. If elected, what new idea or program would you propose to move Cullman City schools forward?
What I would like to see, several steps have already been in place for this, but as an interior designer, the one thing that I see in my profession, a lot of students, do not want to go to a four-year university. They would rather, as far as do a career tech. What I would like to do also is just stress to these students that there's such a need for electricians, plumbers, welders. I mean, there's such a need for that today. And I would like to go in and even talk in some of the classrooms and let them see, and even possibility like some field trips to job sites. I was actually talking to a builder the other day, and I said, how nice would it be to be able to take some students to this job site and see? And I was talking to a man, and he was installing the tile in this house. And I said, look at this masterpiece that you just did. I can design it, and I can all day, but I can't actually go in and do the labor that's required. And I stood back and I said, look what you just did. Kind of like, say Michelangelo, look at his art. I said, it's the same thing for this individual person. I said, you just completed this. I said, that's your art. And so I feel like if students have the opportunity to see this, I think that would spark an interest at a younger age and be able to, hey, I might want to do that one day. Kind of like our HOSA program and other things that have been implemented that younger students wanted to go into the medical field because they're given this opportunity. We didn't have these opportunities when I was in school, and I'm so thankful that my children did, as well as the children in the future. It's just such a wonderful thing, and I think if they were able to see these or a video, or, actually having, some of the people in these trades come in and speak to them other than just a job fair, I think it would make a big difference. And I feel led to do that because, again, at 16, 17, 18 years old, we really didn't know, or I didn't know what I wanted to do. And so I feel like that would just help in so many ways for students to be able to see these things in action.
Thank you for that response. And that concludes my questions, or the Tribune questions. We do have an audience question. You may answer yes or no. Do all candidates live within city school district?
Do all candidates live?
You live within the city district?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Well, that finishes up the questions as far as the Q&A goes. You're welcome to do your closing statement now.
When I decided, it was with very much thought and prayer put into this when I decided to run for this position. I love our town, I love our community, and I love the people that live here. I'm very community-minded, and I thought, what better way could I do to give back to a town that I love so much as investing in the future students, because the students become the people that live here. And I truly think that that's the best investment, by investing in young people. And I have so many ideas and things that I would like to implement moving forward if I am elected for this board. And I feel like too, like with the teachers, with anybody, they want to be heard. And I want to listen. I want to listen with my eyes and my ears. I want to truly listen to what they have to say. And I feel like by doing this, if we give the teachers the support, the environment, and the tools they need, teachers thrive. And I feel like if teachers thrive, that directly benefits the students. And that's what we want. It's all about the students. And also, too, something that I was thinking about the other day, I'm so grateful for the students, not only that the teachers that my children had, but also the experiences I had when I was in school. I remember an English teacher gave a pop quiz on our driver's license number and our social security number. She was teaching English, but she cared so much about us. That was a skill that would carry, with us the rest of our lives. And so another thing too, I just encourage you to thank a teacher. I had recently had the opportunity to thank one that I look up to so much, and they appreciate it too. They pour their heart and soul, being with the students all day long, and I know they care and love what they do. So I truly am running because I love the community, and I feel like I have so much to offer in preparing students for the future. I'm a lifelong Bearcat, and I feel like the best is yet to come. I'm Amy McAfee Wood, and I would greatly appreciate your vote on Tuesday. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming out today and participating in this question and answer forum. I kind of wish it could have been a debate, but things go like they go. Again, I want to thank Amy McAfee Wood for coming out for place 4 for this forum. I want to thank everybody in the audience who came out and everyone who's watching at home. And remember to get out and vote. That will happen next Tuesday. And we will be moving on with the next debate in just a few minutes with place 5. Again, thank you to Wallace State and Vicki Karlowicz for allowing us to be here. Thank you.